here's Brody Brazil.
I know videos here on YouTube, they are supposed to last like forever, right? So as I make this one in August of 2024, I'm going to tell you about something called Cosm, and I'll title this video like the future of sports watching, because I truly feel like this experience, which I literally just found out about, is revolutionary. I think this is going to change the sports watching experience for people that are casual fans, that are hardcore fans. This is awesome and amazing what I'm about to show you. And I realize you're saying, wait, Cosm, it's just a white but futuristic but simple but cool looking building, but Brazil, like what exactly is on the inside of that? Oh, let me show you this. That's right, pretty cool drone video. That's auditorium style seating facing a curved screen. They're showing live sports on it. I mean, this is everything that's good about a modern age sports experience. And it's not just sports. They can do music related things. They can do film related things. I suppose it's similar to IMAX. It's similar to the Sphere experience down in Las Vegas. And the residencies you've seen with that big curved screen. I've had the ability now to check out the Sphere. It's amazing. I don't know that this is as big and monumental as the Sphere. By the way, this is in Los Angeles. This is right around the corner from SoFi Stadium. They're also going to do a couple more of these. I think the next one is in Texas. One after that is coming in Atlanta. They want to do a couple dozen of these by the end of this 2020s decade. So we'll tell you about a couple different areas. There's first the dome area. There's also kind of a hallway area like a pavilion. And then there's a rooftop area in this one in Los Angeles. Explaining the dome, I'll put this in their own words. The dome is more than just a front row seat to your favorite sporting or entertainment event. It will make you reimagine what's possible with live content and redefine how you experience it with your friends. Again, what you were just seeing there in some instances, and we'll go ahead and look at some more specific still photos in a second, those are fans watching live sporting events as if they were actually there. And it's not virtual reality, it's shared reality, which I'll explain in a second. You're not putting on a headset to do this. You're sitting there, you're having drinks, you're eating your food, you're enjoying comfortable seating, you're high-fiving your friends, but you're also watching this on that curved screen in such an immersed atmosphere that it like feels like you're there. And this is, again, from what I'm gaining and gathering. I've seen these videos on social media. It looks tremendous. I would have to imagine that the real-life experience is just as cool based on what I've seen and heard. When you're in the dome, you're completely immersed. Our revolutionary technology makes you feel like you're courtside at an NBA game or traveling to a world beyond your own. Food and drink are always at your fingertips through the Cosm mobile app or by ordering with one of our servers. Okay, so now we kind of get in here to the still images. I can take a second to pop on the telestrator. And I mean, just imagine if it's just kind of this high 50-yard line shot of like the NCAA the national championship football game. So I would imagine that really when you're here, you don't want this screen, you don't want this big screen in front of this person right here. You don't want it cutting cameras and changing angles a bunch, right? Like that's just going to get you dizzy to be watching from a bunch of different camera angles. It's almost like you'd kind of rather have this exact perspective of the entire field. You can watch the entire game. You can look up in the stands. I mean, it's almost as if this person right here, and it looks like the child that's with them, like they are literally as close as it gets to going and attending that game in Houston, but they're in Los Angeles. And I'll get to why this is so cool in just a second. Imagine going to sporting events that, would cost you several thousands of dollars just to get there. And travel and airfare and hotel and accommodations and all that stuff versus what if you spent at the most $150, $200 for two people to come here. And I know it's not in person, but you're with other fans. It's something they're passionate about. And I also think too, what's very important is I'll probably skip here to the next image. Like the resolution and the camera angles and the production of this are super important. Like for example, if this screen right here, if that's super glitchy, or if it kind of has that fisheye angle that's too much, like they have to get this right. And it does here look like on the octagon, like the camera is kind of, in real life, the camera is like mounted on this top rail of padding in the octagon here, but it gives you a real life perspective. Does that make sense? If this camera angle and this setup if it's wrong, and if it's too far away, or if it's too fish-eyed, or it's got the wrong perspective, then this doesn't feel real. But I have a feeling that with the resolution, like if this is 8K, for example, and by the way, the screens at the Sphere are unbelievably crisp. Those have to be at least 8K resolution, all the way from floor to the tippy top of the ceiling where it wraps around you. So if these screens, these curved screens, have that resolution, that is amazing. You'll also notice here for this UFC 303 fight, there's also all these other screens that might be showing you either the traditional broadcast or, like this one, additional information. So you get the feeling of being there on the big main screen, but then you get all the TV monitors with, again, the traditional angles. I really just, if I were to experience this, I would want this main angle to just kind of stay put, to let me get lost in that as if I'm almost there in person watching this event. Now, this is an interesting one, right? Right below the field goal post at Michigan, it looks like. Or no, it's not Michigan. It's that same football game. I was like, that's not the big house. There's a big screen on the other side of there. So I think this is that same national championship football game. But again, it's giving these fans, and we'll take a look more at the seating, the auditorium style seating in a second. It's giving them the perspective as if they are sitting on the field. They are observing this firsthand, almost like they are true eyewitnesses of this game. I feel like if you could master that part of it and get fans to that close as they can feeling to actually being there, this experience is priceless. And I like the way they do this. You can kind of see down here, there's like club style seating, right? And you're a little bit on the floor, so you might have to look up a little bit, but it kind of looks like that's more of the bottle service area. Then you have like theater style seating here above, very cushy and loungy with tables for eating. And then it looks like more typical like stadium seating above that. So it's got different tiers. It's got a couple different balconies. I saw one on the far end over here too. And it looks like this is where the screen starts wrapping around all the way over there. I really like that it's not all just one thing and that there's plenty of area to roam around. Like this doesn't look so gigantic that it's overwhelming. It looks intimate enough, but it also looks big enough. I mean, it just, again, having only seen this and not been there, it seems like the perfect idea. So that is what's inside the dome. As for that whole idea of shared reality, I'll get into that for a second. And again, all of this coming from Cosm. I'm repeating what they're saying because there's just not a lot of other information out there on this. Cosm, if you want to invite me to check this out, I'm only up north a little bit in California. I would love to come down and check this out. Cosm is creating a new type of reality technology that brings immersive experiences to physical spaces. Cosm's CX display, that must be the technology they use to really make it look sharp and real, envelops, or is it envelopes? No, it's envelops around the entire audience, transforming the space into anything imaginable. Kind of like the inside of the Sphere. Step onto the field of your favorite sporting event, take a trip through space, or enjoy front row concert seats with your friends. This is shared reality. It combines the best of both virtual and physical worlds. Again, virtual because of the screen, and I imagine the sound system probably just really hits in there. All of that, plus you feel like you're there, but you also feel like you can high-five your friend when something good happens. And I like the fact that they're not limiting Cosm to just sports. I think there is a tremendous use case here, and I'll get to their partnerships in just a second. But it could go, and it should go beyond sports. More on shared reality. Again, because it's not virtual reality, it's shared reality. It stands apart from other reality technologies in two significant ways. First, it captures the raw emotion and energy of the performance on the screen as the immersive nature of the venue acts as the conduit for that collective energy to be shared and enjoyed by the entire audience. Again, it's kind of like going to the movies, except, oh, you can all laugh together at the funny parts and high five and have a drink together, and the lights are on to some degree. So you're almost like at the sporting event where it's okay to be social as you watch something on a screen as if it were like a movie. But that's the other thing. All of this is amazing because it's live. And the technology behind that, by the way, getting the right camera in the right placement and the right transmission to get this signal and this broadcast straight back to inside the dome. All of that takes So much effort and so much future forward technology, but here we are in 2024 and it's possible. Imagine fans cheering their alma mater on to win a national championship 40 years in the making, reveling together in the highs of touchdowns scored or field goals kicked. Those emotions and that powerful energy coursing through an immersive venue are one distinction of shared reality. I totally agree. The second differentiator, shared reality is a collective experience, not just an individual one. That means looking over at your best friend or even a total stranger and high-fiving when the winning point is scored or savoring the last note of a song as it lingers in the air together. Shared reality speaks to fundamental human nature's need to witness and validate experiences with others. Shared reality is equal parts reality technology and convivial social experience. Convivial. Wow, I've never used that word before. This is the future of immersive entertainment. I fully agree. I think this is very interesting. I'm somebody who broadcasts sports, consumes a lot of sports, and look at the connections they've already made. TNT, ESPN, the NBA, UFC, NBC Sports, the Premier League, NBA on ESPN, the NBA Finals, the US Open. I mean, who's not on this list that's in the sporting world? I've heard that the Fox network also has some agreements and arrangements that are still to come, and more to come here. This is unbelievable. They've already got all the ins and all the connections to properly showcase these sports, these events, these matches, these games, these leagues. They've already got the hard part dialed in. All right, so this is the hallway kind of on the inside. So I should also explain, it's not just the dome. This is more like the entrance when you come in. This is the setup. It feels like there's more of a club space, a bar, a restaurant area. So you don't have to be sitting kind of like a sports venue in a stadium. You don't have to be stuck at your seat. You can kind of escape for a few minutes, come out here or set up out here, and then go in and watch the event. Because yeah, sporting events, they still have intermissions or halftimes or pregame or postgame. So I love to see the fact that it's not just the one area you come in and then they kick you out. And then here in Los Angeles, they also have the rooftop area, which is tremendous. You watch the planes land over at LAX. Look at the Intuit Dome is right there. I saw SoFi Stadium is right around the corner. Looks like DJs on the 1, 2s, and 3s out there. So that looks very cool, right? And on the right day or night in Los Angeles, this just adds, having a space like this, it just adds to something that's already perfect. So I know I've talked a lot about this. I know I've been very positive, but I just wanted to share this because this is unbelievable to me. Here's all the things I like. Number one, again, the ability to transcend thousands of travel miles, right? If you want to go see a Premier League match, kind of hard to get there on a weekend. Especially if you're on the West Coast of the United States, it's expensive. It's time consuming. You're shifting hours. Now that is another thing. What time of day and night would a lot of this stuff be on? Some of it's going to be early if it's a Premier League soccer match. But bottom line is you don't have to travel those miles. You can get a pretty realistic experience if you live in LA right around the corner. And I think it's something that could not have even existed 5 years ago because of the technology. Like I said, the cameras that capture this in probably 8K and transmit it back in 8K. And a screen that can display it in 8K to the point where your eyes can't even differentiate even above like 5K. So you're seeing what looks to be as real as it gets. I mean, it's not real, but it fools your mind if you sit there and watch it long enough to think that, oh, I actually might be here. It feels like I'm watching this. So high resolution, high detail and definition, all very integral to why this actually works here and now. And yeah, very cool to have a premium experience for food and beverages and groups, right? This seems like something where if you wanted to go with a buddy or a kid, that would be great. But if you had 6 people, that also works pretty good too. This idea, it sounds like they're already on the move to obviously get LA opened up and launched. I think it's about a month old as I record this. Texas is next. I think Atlanta's coming after that. They want to open a bunch more. If you've already put in the hard work to get those arrangements in with the leagues, and you've got the technology dialed in to capture it and to transmit it, guess what? You can open up now as many of these as you want because the infrastructure now is already there. This type of experience, this Cosm experience, it can be duplicated across the US and across the rest of the world. I don't see what's stopping a place like this from absolutely expanding like crazy in the near future. And I hope and I'll circle this again because I think this is important. I certainly hope that what you're watching when you come to these events, these Cosm events, it's a simple production. Like, I don't really want to see a bunch of different graphics. I kind of just want it to be, if the ball's on one side of the field, let's make sure we're looking at that. And let's have the perspective as if we're all in the stands watching this together. You know what I mean? What do you do about replays? Maybe you have to have replays on the TV monitor up above. But I want the person to feel like they're actually there. If you want to watch a replay, you look up at the scoreboard. So the less production, the better from the Cosm watching experience, if that makes sense. I know that probably sounds obvious, but I hope that that's something that when they do these experiences, they keep that in mind. So again, I just wanted to highlight Cosm. I think if this video lives on 5-10 years, you'll look back and say, oh my gosh, he's covering the beginning of something we now already know about. Of course, Cosm's a big deal. This is very cool. But I think here in 24, with just one of these existing as for right now, again, I would love to check it out. I would love to document it in person. So Cosm, if you're watching, you know where to find me. Hey, you've made it here to the end of this video. You know I really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That'll greatly help me in this video and my channel. I would like that, but I would also love it if right now you just take 1 second, also go down there, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. That way I get to see you, hopefully for some more great content, again in the near future.